quite special. Never in the history have we seen an AFCON where there's a lot of unpredictability in this particular competition, where small teams that we thought were small teams are now the big teams in this AFCON. We saw what happened with Ghana yesterday, saw what happened with Nigeria yesterday, and even the host Ivory Coast. Who would have thought that the host would be beaten 4-0 in their own backyard?
Definitely.
So it's quite enjoyable for all of us, the neutral fans, when you watch this other game, except when you're watching the Cameroon national team. So I expect a lot from this particular game. I'm not going to be discussing more, but I think I'm okay at the moment. But like I said, I always indicate that in every competition, we need to talk based on history, based on what the players can do, based on what the coach has put up as his first 11, and based on what the other coach too is doing. Because I've had an opportunity to sample a couple of individuals, and they are like, Cameroon has been very poor in the past couple of games, but they still have an opportunity to get a victory today. But like the opportunity for Cameroon, they equally say Gambia does not want to go home with 0 points.
Very true, Boris.
Gambia wants to go back with at least a point, or at least qualifying to the next. Remember, Gambia still has an opportunity to qualify for the next with a win, as one of the four best place teams. So it's a very, very crucial game today, and I believe that we're going to see beautiful football today.
Indeed. It's Cameroon going to do what they did 40 years ago, and Jamie Ateke coming up was smiling and saying that I feel comfortable today. Did I read your facial expression well this evening, Jamie Ateke?
Well, from the results of yesterday, it was the picture of that there is still hope, because normally before the third round games, we were talking about Cameroon has to win by 2-0 to ensure that Guinea loses, and so that was the calculation. And so now we should be looking forward to say, okay, let's go and win, play Cape Verde in the round of 16, finish second in play Nigeria. You will be looking at yourself and say, okay, let me just win and see or hope, because you want to avoid a team like Nigeria, because this is a knockout, and so with the knockout you are looking forward to avoid those top teams. Yes, Nigeria is they struggled in the group stage, but they finished with 7 points, and so they have that momentum. They are growing as the competition is growing. So that's Nigeria for you. So you want to avoid such a team in the round of 16. So I think at this point in time, there is just one objective, just one approach to the game, and that's to go out and play to win. Though it's not going to be easy, because the Gambians, Tom Sefiat made it clear that before coming to the competition, he was afraid of Cameroon. But watching the first game of Cameroon against Guinea, it was like it was like having that confidence that it was going to beat Cameroon. So there is still all to play for, because Gambia, if they should win 2-0, then I think they put Cote d'Ivoire in a tight situation, qualifying for the third best place teams in the competition. So the all odds, at least 80% is going for Cameroon, but you can't ride the Gambians out. I think last time around they qualified for the quarterfinals, and so you expect them to actually try to find a way, maybe behind the back door, to qualify from the third place, but it's going to be difficult. I think at this point in time, we just hope that Cameroon gets just the result and nothing else.
Indeed, but before we talk about Cameroon, Gambia, Senegal, Guinea, I'll stay with you, Jamie Ateke. We are going to be playing the last group stages for 2 days, many. So I just wanted to tell us some beautiful moments that you have enjoyed since the start of the African Cup of Nations, especially when it comes to the games.
Well, there have been beautiful moments. I think close to before yesterday's games, 67 goals were scored in 24 games that were being played, and it had close to about 2.57 goals per game. That's the highest we've gotten since Ghana in 2008, which we had 3.1 goals per game. So then it was 16 teams. So it shows that there were goals. There have been goals in the competition. We had the game again, they are beating Angola against Mauritania. We saw Mauritania scoring for the first time in Kumple. Last time they scored in Cameroon was a penalty. So it showed African football is growing. We've seen surprises. We've seen Morocco held by Congo. We knew Morocco was the balanced team, but when it comes to the second game against Congo, it was really a tough game. So I still stand to be corrected. The most entertaining game I've watched, Ghana Egypt. I think that was the game which I saw hunger from the two teams. I saw the determination by both teams to win that particular game. Though it ended in a draw, but it was a heavyweight clash of that great standards. We saw the host. I think this is the greatest humiliation we've ever seen by host nation in the African Cup of Nations, beating 4-0. Even the likes of Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, who were the teams that actually hosted, they didn't concede a number of goals in their time when they hosted. I think Cote d'Ivoire, they got it all wrong in terms of their selections. There were criticisms here and there why Zaha wasn't called. He wasn't their top players, and so why leave him out in such a competition where you are hosting to win as Ivory Coast. I think you look at its entirety, a team like Cape Verde, Mali, Equatorial Guinea, those teams, I think we have to watch out for them. Burkina Faso, those are the outsiders which we were talking about in the competition, and so far they've proven that they are really the outsiders. If you look at Burkina Faso, 4 points from 2 games, Mali 4 points from 2 games. If you look at Equatorial Guinea topping their pool in a group where you had Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. You look at Cape Verde, despite the fact that Egypt was much more determined to carry the day, but Cape Verde for Egypt to score you at the 92nd minute, and then Cape Verde back equalizing at the 95th minute, then it tells you how African football has grown. I think it stems to the FIFA investment project, which is really helping these young teams with the coming of digitalization of football and so forth in terms of marketing. These nations could or can now learn from the advanced European nations and try to build something. We've seen how Morocco is building. We've seen how Senegal has built something which is a model which has proven to be the right way for African football, and it's working. We've seen Guinea taking that step, Gambia also taking that step. So it's all about developing football, and they are actually copying the good thing and doing it rightly. And that is why you see the results not really going the way they are supposed to go, as compared to the yesteryears where if Cameroon meets Zambia in the AFCON like in 2008 it's 5-1, Cameroon meets Sudan like in 2008 it's 3-0. But now it is difficult for a big name to defeat these small guys. You see Equatorial defeating Cote d'Ivoire 4-0. It's unbelievable for that to happen. We saw the likes of Namibia defeating Tunisia. Namibia first win. They haven't won a game with the AFCON. They had to do that. So it gives us a picture how and where African football lies in the future. There will come a time when these bigger nations will like struggle much and more, and coming to games as not as favorites, but as underdogs to those underdogs who are actually showcasing their talents this time around.
And yes, yesterday I saw football made by Africans, played by Africans, especially the game between Cape Verde and Egypt. It was one that could actually wake up the dead in terms of the intensity and pressure that the both sides had to create in terms of that particular game. And over to you, Boris Sono. We go straight away to talk about Cameroon and Gambia. I'm very sure that you have looked already at the lineup in terms of this particular game, where we are going to commence with Team Cameroon, where there is a change at the goalpost. Instead of Onana, we are having Unwa at the moment. Now, talk to us in terms of this particular 3-4-3 tactics that Coach Rico Bessong has decided to, as I say, use against Gambia this evening.
Well, it's an interesting lineup that has been done. First of all, I think the coach knows best, in as much as we can discuss on why Onana was brought in favor of Andre Onana. To me, I always have this mentality that Andre did not perform badly in that last game. In as much as he considered 3 goals, but we have to look at where those goals came from. It's not like he just stood at the goalpost and allowed the balls to go in. The second goal was not his fault. Yes, the third goal might have been, he might have done so. But I don't know if you've watched games in the Premier League Yesterday there was equal another similar goal that was scored in the Premier League, even in the German Bundesliga. So it's not like Andre didn't make an effort. You have to look at the placement of Andre Onana before that ball was kicked. And so unfortunately he has to pay the price of social media pressure. I just see the social media pressure because Andre Onana is the #1 goalkeeper we have. In as much as we say that he came late, remember it's not Andre Onana's fault. Because most of the time I've seen on social media a lot of stick has been given to Andre that he doesn't have that love for his country. Who negotiated the deal? It's not Andre, it's the Cameroon Football Federation with Manchester United. So if Fecafoot has said Andre come, Andre would have been there. But if you go and negotiate to say that let my player play again the game against Spurs, you don't expect Andre to do otherwise. So it was a negotiation, and unfortunately he's paying the price. Ondua is a good goalkeeper, no doubt, but you cannot compare Ondua and Onana in this particular field as far as football is concerned. Ondua had a good performance in 2017, no doubt, but if you look at a couple of games that Ondua has played, even the game against Guinea, Ondua wasn't at the best of his form. So it's just unfortunate that the change has been done, rightly so, considering 3 goals is not the best. And heading into a game per se, a small team like Guinea-Bissau, you must be on your guard in this particular game. And I think the only thing I'm surprised, to me, I don't know if Jimmy shares the same opinion, I'm surprised to the inclusion of Toko Ekambi in this particular game, and you leave a certain Muminge Malo, who to me was one of the best players in the game against Senegal. I might be wrong, but to me I saw him as one of the best in that particular game. Like I said, Senegal were too boisterous. They manhandled Cameroon in that particular game, and even when you saw they were 2 or so, Cameroon had an opportunity and came back, but Senegal controlled the game. And I think Muminga Malo was one of the players who I noticed has had a good game in that particular game. But if you look at Gemale's game against Senegal and Toko Ekambi's game against Guinea, to me I'm going with Ngemale in this particular game because of the way Ngemale played, and Toko was very, very wasteful in that particular game against Guinea. But I might be wrong today. Ekambi might just prove me wrong today, because remember, he was in the first game, was in the second game on the bench, and so he has a lot to prove in this particular game against Gambia to tell the coach that okay, if we qualify for the next game, then I know that my position is assured in this particular side. The other personality that I'm surprised equally, I would have expected Faris. I would have expected Faris to be in this particular game today. I just feel like Faris has that quality of a 9. I remember that he just recently signed a contract with Marseille. I think he has a lot to prove as far as AFCON is concerned. Magri has scored 1 goal, no doubt. We're not saying that Magri hasn't scored. But when we look at the contribution of Magri in the team, I just feel like Faris can do much better. Probably we might see him in the second game, but hopefully the team is going to do better. And equally in the midfield, the change that has been done there, bringing Olivier Cham. I think the issue here is probably Kemen. Kemen has a yellow card. Kemen might just get a red card in this particular game. So probably that's the mentality of the coach. Then no, just let me rest you and see what Cham can bring in this particular side, because the way Kemen played in the last game, he would have gotten a red card. So probably the coach is doing a bit of just to guard Kemen getting a red card in this particular game. But my surprise equally is on the aspect of the 3 formation at the back. I don't know, we complained last time in the first game about the Castelletto at the right back. I don't know why Castelletto is still again at the right back, but it's like there's going to be a 4, because I expect to be a 4. Chateau, yes, Chateau is in the midfield at the moment, but I expect Chateau to drop back into the right back position. So it's going to be a partnership between Wu and Jean-Charles Castelletto. So all in all, it's I don't want to say that it's a weak lineup, but the lineup can do a lot in this particular game. And if you look at the Gambia side equally, the Gambia side, they've used most of the players that they've been using in the past couple of games. Just a few changes equally like Cameroon. But I keep on saying we should not minimize Thompson Field. Egypt, Ivory Coast, Ghana, even Morocco, Even Nigeria itself, they minimize in quote the small teams. So we might be saying here that Cameroon will get an easy goal, easy 2-0, easy 3-0, but Gambia changed the script and produce something good in this particular game. Yes, history tells us that Cameroon has won all this game against Gambia. Last game we had 2-0 victory, but I'm always at the middle, in the middle, to indicate that Gambia is a side that can cause us harm. I always like to see the first 15 minutes how the team plays. If Cameroon shows that hunger which they played against Senegal, because the first minute against Senegal, Cameroon was at the front foot. That should be the same mentality which Coach Rigoberto instills in his boys today. And the best team definitely has to win, but I think it's going to be an interesting game today.
Indeed, let the best team win. And over to Gambia's, shall I say, lineup, where they have a 4-4-1-1 formation. We see a lot of concentration at the backyard of the Gambia side, with 4 good defenders, 4 midfielders, and have just 1 attacker in terms of up front. What do you make of this particular lineup for Thompson?
Yeah, he's always this lineup, bringing Musa Baru, I think, is the player who plays at number 10, support striker to the main attacker. So he himself has contributed to all Gambia's goals they have scored in the AFCON. So he is the most important or influential player when it comes to this particular Gambian side. Yes, he knows that Cameroon is playing with clear attack, and you get at one point in time maybe 4 or 5 Cameroonians in the box in terms of set pieces. So that's why he had to play with the 4 defenders to ensure that he has 4 defenders for midfield, so that he gets a compact team to counter these 4 midfielders of Cameroon. Remember that Cameroon is playing technically with 4 midfielders and 5 defenders in terms of defending. So I think Tom Sefer, he knows that Cameroon is coming just for one purpose, for a win, but he's looking at himself and see, coming to the AFCON for your second time consecutively. The last time you qualified 3rd place, you played the quarterfinals. That was a big achievement in your debut campaign, but now you are almost 80% out of the competition. But now, how can you make it to have, let's say, consolation, 1 point? This is why you came out with such a tactical formation to spoil the party for Cameroon, maybe play and hit Cameroon on a counter. I think that should be his approach to this game, because you know quite fully well that Cameroon normally is a big name, despite the fact that they struggled. But you must have a tactics. You cannot attack Cameroon directly. You must be able to contain them at one point in time and then keep them on a counter. I think that is where I think Tom Sefer coming with this lineup wants to do to Cameroon. However, the game is going to be a tough game. We are not riding anybody out. I think Cameroon has to respect the fact that Gambia too, the fact that they are in the AFCON, they are one of the best. Yes, they are the lowest ranked team in the competition, but mind you that Equatorial Guinea was 78 yesterday, defeating Cote d'Ivoire in the top 10. So you have to check all those rules on their checks and balances first before you start thinking of whether you are a big name or not. You just need to see football is in the pitch, and football is won in 90 minutes. So that is where I think Rigoberto Bahana has to tell his boys to be cautious while attacking this game. This is not Senegal, this is not Guinea. It's a team that is desperate. They say a man can hold a snake while drowning, and so you expect Guinea they need a point, and so they can play in Brazil and get that point. So that's it. So we have to be very careful, and we have to take our chances. And like Boris said, the Kartoko issue, well, I myself I was shocked, because normally he hasn't really proven, and his form moving from Olympique Lyonnais to Saudi Arabia, he hasn't really having that push like he did in 2021 in Cameroon. So I think he should have given everything to be dropped and then Gamale plays. But however, it's the decision of the coach. He saw them on training, and so he knows the type of players who are in need of such games, and so he thought maybe Kartoko should be the ideal the ideal player to play that particular win. And I think it's just a change in the first game of the attack, because bringing in Toko is just to shift him from the wings, and then bringing out Magui to his original position. So let's just hope and see. This is the second chance they are playing this attack
Yeah, same lineup.
Yeah, this attack. So we just hope that they get the goals, because what we need now is the goals, and only goals can win us this game, and a combative defense. That's why I applaud the three defense pair, because technically we are going to play with 5 defenders while defending, and also tactically we are going to play with 4 midfielders. And then at one point in time, because you have a situation whereby Kartoko, Magri, and Kudu will have to get themselves in the box, then creating the space for Chamaje and Yongwa to flip through and keep those crosses. That's the tactics which Rigobertson has put here. Then have Zambo now Cham operating at the midfield to ensure that yes, Zambo could play as a pivot, this number 6, to protect the back 3. When he's danger, then he falls back to have a combative defense. So we just have to have the commitment. Yes, the tactics is there, the idea is there, the roadmap is there for the players to go out there and execute. But now it's the commitment, the fighting spirit. It comes also with that love for fatherland, like Samuel Eto'o said. There is a time when you go and put patriotism test to ensure, yes, because the different ball game. For club, you play for club based on money, but for country, you play based on patriotism. So patriotism has to be inculcated into these boys to ensure that they get the win today.
And yes, the patriotism that we saw between Cameroon and Brazil during the World Cup, it's what we want to see today against Gambia. And looking at this lineup, we are asking ourselves that, are these starting 11 going to portray that love? Are they going to make the thousands of Cameroonians that will be sitting on the screens to watch this particular game? We find a lot of questions, and according to my podcast, the two sides are already warming up, talking Cameroon, Gambia, and equally Senegal, Guinea over there in Ivory Coast, where they are doing their last touches in terms of this game, as it's going to be the last group stages. And mind you that somebody like Senegal has already qualified for the rounds of 16, and it's just there to add up to her points. And equally Guinea will be coming in with a full flesh, and not to let Senegal continue being the leader in terms of Pool C. And this particular game is going to be very interesting, because when you look at Borussia Solo, when you look at the lineup of Lucici, he has actually maintained a same technique since the start of this particular African Cup of Nations. And now you look at the lineup against Guinea, it's practically the same thing, the same players. But what do you make in terms of this particular second game that will be going on at the same time that Cameroon's game will be going on?
Well, first of all, it shows you that Aliou Cissé knows his boys. It shows you that Aliou Cissé trusts the guys who have been with him for match day 1 to match day 2. He trusts Sadio Mane, Habib Diallo, Ismail Assar. These are guys who play at top level of football. Edouard Mendy, equally at top level as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned. So I'm not surprised that Aliou Cissé continues to maintain the boys, because I've loved the way the guys have played right up for match day 1. Yes, they had a couple of blip in the game against Cameroon when Cameroon scored the first goal or so. You could see some panic, pressure from the Senegalese, but when they got the third goal, you saw them, they calmed down and they started playing the way we know Senegal to play. So I feel like Senegal is the top dog in defending the AFCON trophy. I've not really seen the best of Morocco. I've not really seen the best of Algeria. They've struggled. Tunisia equally has struggled. So the only names that we've gotten at the moment is Equatorial Guinea and Cape Verde. In terms of the big teams at the moment, or the small teams who become big teams in this AFCON. Nigeria has been there, but Nigeria has struggled, and they've not really had the best of performances. Even as much as Nigeria is qualifying with 7 points, Nigeria has scored just 1 goal. The others have been penalties and own goal. So they have not shown the quality that they have. So as Senegal, I am not surprised that Aliou Cissé has maintained this side. The trick here comes from the point of Guinea, because Guinea just need a draw, and a draw takes them over the line in this particular competition, and a draw takes them to the next stage as second team in Group C. And that's where now you start seeing the calculators coming out for Cameroon. But like Jamie said earlier, the issue of yesterday's game, Ivory Coast and the others, made things a bit easy for Cameroon, because we would have started looking at if Cameroon has to beat, has to remove that is -2 goals.
Yes,
against the other team that he conceded. So the draw or the defeat for Ivory Coast is they made it easy. Cameroon gets the victory today by 1-0. They are already inside, so it doesn't matter if we concede 5 goals or the fact that we win 6-5. Cameroon goes because of what? We go to 4 points. We take the position of Ivory Coast. So I think the
currently stands with 3 points.
Yes, the defeat for yesterday was really bad for Ivory Coast, and like I said, it made it easy for Cameroon to actually go through to the next round. Like I said, Guinea just needed a draw. The issue now is if Guinea is beaten by, let's say, 4-0 or 3-0, then the trick now is Cameroon needs to win by at least 3-0 or 2-0 to wipe its goal difference and balance up with Guinea, because you have to look at now the goals are different between the two sides in this particular game. The issue now is at the end of the day, it was 1-1 goal difference between Guinea and Cameroon. We now go now to the yellow cards. Who had more yellow cards in the game? Cameroon qualified because of what? Guinea had a red card in that particular game. So that is the calculation that has been done. So if Guinea is beating 2-0, it will wipe off the minus difference it has. So Cameroon will be on a good footing. Cameroon then needs to win about two goals, and then they qualify as second best team with 4 points. Guinea equally with 4 points. So I think there's a lot riding on this particular game, equally with Guinea. In as much as Guinea, to me, they've already qualified because they'll finish as one of the best placed team with 4 points. They just need a draw. So they will equally want to finish the competition with a draw. They will equally want to finish the competition on the second, because they know that they can face one of the big boys as the third best placed teams in this competition. You might be placed with let's say Nigeria, or giving Cape Verde is riding strong, or Equatorial Guinea. So there's a lot in this particular game. But I just feel like Senegal will be too strong for Guinea, because the way Senegal has played the competition this EM, from the first day of play right up to the second day of play, even against Cameroon, you saw the class of Ismail Assar, you saw the class of Habib Diallo, you saw the class of Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane has been very prolific than Mohamed Salah in this competition, even than Victor Osimhen. So I think they want to complete the group by picking up 3 points. So I expect Senegal to come out victorious. The trick now is in the other game, Cameroon against Gambia.
And we are going to allow it for after 90 minutes of play to determine who is going to be the winner for that particular game. And over to you, Jimmy Ateke, in terms of Senegal and Guinea, what are you envisaging to see in this particular game?
Well, you know, Senegal had it difficult to beat Guinea. I think that was in 2021 in Cameroon. They were in the same group. That was the first game that Senegal played, and they had a 0-0 all draw in that particular game in Bafoussam. So Guinea, yes, in 2021, Senegal struggled to get themselves into the round of 16. That's when they picked team. But this time around, it looks like easy for them, starting with Gambia 3-0, Cameroon 3-1. And so they are looking forward and say, okay, we started it like this, everyone wants to beat us as champions. And so, yeah, the Guineans, they too are coming with a different purpose to maybe get something out of the game, maybe to top the group, because the guy is looking at that. I mean, Guinea is still looking at that, because if Guinea draws, they finish second, they play Nigeria. And so you are looking at the big picture, play Nigeria with all their attack. This is a knockout match. It's no longer a group stage where you fight for 3 points. So Guinea is looking at that direction. So they are going to, as with the ambition to win. They're not going there to get maybe a draw or whatever. They are going there to fight Senegal to the last end, just like what we had with Equatorial Guinea. And because Equatorial Guinea, they themselves knew yesterday that they had already, even because defeats them, they qualify as the third best, but they still went out to fight. And so that should be the same spirit that Guinea is taking today. Likewise, Cape Verde yesterday, they knew they are qualified, but they looked at I might have qualified, but I still want to
remain at the top.
So that is it. So that's the same thing with Guinea. They will be going and say, okay, if I win today, I'll go top.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, that is it. So Senegal has to be very careful with confidence overdose. They have to respect Guinea, play their normal game with compose, and they should not feel like they are the top dog in the group. They might received shots from Guinea at one point in time, and with one goal, Guinea might tend to actually defend. So if they score first, I think it's going to be difficult for Senegal. So what Senegal needs to do is that they do not concede first against Guinea, because Guinea, I think once they score you first, it's very difficult to score them, and that might haunt Senegal by playing Nigeria with the clean second. So Senegal just have to, yes, they are favourites in the fixture, but I think Guinea might just create one more surprise for a drama in this AFCON.
Talking about a surprise, what's your prediction for this particular game, Senegal-Guinea?
Well, I think it's really going to be a tough one, but I really will give Guinea a chance. Guinea, I think I go for Guinea draw, or 1-1.
Boris Asono, I know you're always siding with the underdogs. Are you going to do the same in terms of Senegal-Guinea?
No. I don't side with the underdogs entirely. I remember I do that Senegal is one of my favorites in this AFCON. I'm not siding with the Guinea today. I'm siding with Senegal because I think Senegal might just be too strong for Guinea. I believe Guinea might score. I just have the prediction that Guinea will score. But I think Senegal might just carry the day by 2-1 or 3-1. The same scoreline that they had against Cameroon. So I believe that is going to be a victory for Senegal too.
And who among the 4 teams? Is it Cameroon? Is it Gambia? Is it Senegal? And is it Guinea that is going to join Nigeria, Egypt, Senegal as well, Cape Verde and Mozambique, Equatorial Guinea rather, in terms of the rounds of 16? We're asking ourselves, and only after 19 minutes of play are we going to know the teams that are going to be in the rounds of 16 in terms of this particular African Cup of Nations that continues to bring us surprises daily and every time. And to those who are contributing, we want to say thank you. And please, immediately as the game starts, I would not consider any reaction in our prediction in terms of this particular game. And please, when predicting, make sure you write first game Cameroon, Gambia, second game Senegal and Guinea, because the way many of people are sending your reactions, it's confusing, and by the end of the day the package doesn't go to you. You start complaining that you got the right score and we didn't give your package. Please respect the rules. First game Cameroon, Gambia, we send your prediction. Second game Senegal, Guinea, we send your prediction, and yes, that Grand Cadeau will be given out to you. And yes, it's time for us to go and visit what's going to be happening in Ivory Coast this time around. And to those who are watching us, we will be giving the game to you live from Yamoussoukro over there in Ivory Coast. And yes, it's going to be a game for you to watch, a game for you not to put all your heart, like the Frenchman would say, on ne met pas le cœur. If you want to protect your mental health this evening, these 2 games are games that you are supposed to watch with a light heart. Get some wine beside you and enjoy yourself, as we are going to see if the Lions of Cameroon are going to roar against Gambia. And that is it in terms of this particular analysis. And we are going to come back after the first 45 minutes of play, as we are going to dish out to you what will be transpiring in Ivory Coast, especially in Yamoussoukro against Cameroon and Gambia.
We won the match because we have a very good hope today, and the match will be a very difficult match for Cameroon. And this is the type of match that Cameroon won. So I'm very happy to support Lyon and Nongtap. Well, for me, if they put Jack Clinton a fee to start match, I'll be very happy, because that's our Anglophone brother here. So I just believe that they should stand Jack Clinton.